Hello students, welcome to the fourth session of Unit 5 video session. In previous session, we have gone through some tools that are provided by AngularJS, which are very much useful for extending the to make AngularJS as extended HTML. So in this session also, we are continuing with that tools. So firstly, we will start with include. Okay. So by default, HTML does not give any functionality to embed HTML page in another HTML page. So this thing can be achieved with the includes. Okay. So with AngularJS, you can include HTML from an external file using ng include directive. For that, you have to use that ng include. The AngularJS provides functionality to include another JS file, another AngularJS file in the current file. For that, you have to use ng includes. Okay. Suppose you have to use a single code or single logic multiple times. So rather than writing the same logic again and again, it's better to write it once and use it again and again whenever required. This is the easy point we can understand. So this can be performed with ng includes in AngularJS. We can write the logic that we want to execute multiple times at different places in a single file. Okay, and then we can include that file whenever and wherever we want that particular logic. Okay, thus the include directive provides a way for code reusability, and ng include directive, with the help of that we can access one Angular file in another Angular file. This is the basic thing, and without using ng include in AngularJS, we have to write the same code again and again in each file. Okay, so basic purpose of ng include is to fetch the external HTML fragments, to compile the external HTML fragments, and to include the external HTML fragments in our main Angular application. Okay, so basically there are two include types, that is client side include and it can be server side include. Okay, for client side includes in AngularJS, we can use JavaScript programming language to embed the code of one file into another file, while the server side includes are available throughout a site as a small piece of code. Okay, we can use it for a navigation menu, page header, page footer, and it can also accept various extensions like .shtml, .stm, .shtm, or .cgi. Okay, so for creating server side includes, syntax is hash include virtual equals to navigation.shtm. Okay, and for simple directive include, the syntax is given as, you can see in the example I have given body ng app. Okay, and directive we have included, that is ng dash include equal to myfile.html. Okay, so here we can see that the ng include is having another file in its double quotes. Okay, so myfile.html is written somewhere else, and we are using that particular file in our application. Okay, so we will elaborate this with one example. Here we can see we have used one main.html file. Okay, so there we have the two input lines we have taken, that is for first name and last name. So for first name we have taken as input type equals to text and ng model equals to student.firstname. Then for last name, same, input type is used, that is text, and ng model is used as student dot last name. And lastly, after break, we have used an expression that student dot full name with function. Okay, where full name is function. So this is our main.html file. Now, how to use this file in another HTML file that you can see, or in another AngularJS file. So we have written another block of code as try AngularJS.html. Here in the body tag we have included ng app directive. Main app is the name given for that app application, and ng controller is student controller. Then we have included ng include directive, and the directive is having name as main.html. That is the code we have seen now. Okay, now in the script tag we have created variable for main app. Okay, main app variable, and we have used angular.module function, angular.module method here, and we have used the controller main app.controller as student controller with function scope parameter. Now $scope.student equals to first name as Mahesh and last name as Parashar. Both the names are given in double quotes, we can see. And lastly, full name we have made it function. The variable student object, we have created variable student object, and with this object we are accessing that full name, like student object equals to $scope.student, and return student object first name plus, as it is string, we are concatenating plus student object dot last name. Okay, and ending the script and body tags. So now we can see the output we will get will be the combination of first name and last name, and first name and last name we have provided in the program itself, that is Mahesh Parashar. So that will be our output. So this is the basic thing that is provided by includes. The main thing that is given by includes is to include another file in AngularJS using ng include directive. Okay, so we'll move forward with the another part, that is views. Okay, so views, it is possible to create single page application through multiple views in AngularJS, and for this purpose AngularJS provides directives like ngView and ngTemplate, and it also provides services like root provider services. So AngularJS view is a content which is displayed to the user. According to user request, a view of an application is displayed to the user. And since in one single page application it can have a number of views, therefore according to user's choice a view is shown, and using the combination of views and roots, an application can be divided in logical views and bind different views to controllers. For doing so, we are using these three things, that is ngView, ngTemplate directives, and root provider services. So we'll see one by one what is ngView, ngTemplate, and $root provider service. So ngView tag simply creates a placeholder where a corresponding view, or we can say HTML or ngTemplate view, can be placed based on the configuration. Okay, so it will give you a placeholder with the ngView directive. Okay, we have to simply use it as opening directive tag and naming that particular ng view. Okay. Then second is ng template directive. The ng template directive is used to create an HTML view using script tag. It contains ID attribute which is used by $root provider to map a view with a controller. Okay. So this ng template and root provider are having connection between two of them. Okay, so how you will include it in the script? Like opening the script tag, you have to define type, that will be your text or ng template, and as told before, ng template is having id. So id here will be any id that you want to include. Here the id given is add student.html. And third is root provider. The concept of this id will be cleared with the example that we are going to see. Before that, we will continue with this root provider. So the root provider is key service which is set of configuration of URLs and mapping them with the corresponding HTML page or ng template, and attach a controller with the same. So how to attach this controller is like your use of controller. Here you will firstly create that variable main app. Okay, we will name that ng app. That will be, if that will be a main app, then you will use it as main app.config. This config you have to compulsorily use because it is based on configuration. And we have used the parameters as $root provider, and it is having function $root provider. Okay, so we'll see these things with one example. Like here we have started this HTML head tag and given title as AngularJS views, and this script source is included with the Ajax link. Okay, and there is end of this script. After that, we have included another script source that is also a Ajax link with the Angular root.min.js. Okay, and there is end of another script as well, and here it is end of head section. So now we will see in the body tag we have included that ng app directive. There we have created main app, name as main app, and here we have used two links. First is a href equals to #add1, that is for add students, and another link with the href and anchor tag we have used is view1. Okay, #view1. So we will see one by one how it will be displayed with different view patterns. So with this ng view we have included directive ng view and simply ended it. Second, we have created a script type equals to text /ng template, and id here used is add. Okay. Then here we have used h2 heading for add student message, and the message is given with the expression, and there is end of the script. Again we want to display same thing for the view part, so we have started another script, provided type as text or ng template and id as view, and the heading is view students, and the message is passed with expression text, that is message, and ended the script also, and there is end of this directive tag. Okay, so you might have got idea. Here we have used two patterns, that is div ng view. We have used ng view and ng template. Next part we will use root providers. Okay, So we have started the script as variable main app. Angular.module method we have used. Here we have provided two parameters, main app and ng-root, and as told the configuration must be used. So main app.config will provide $root provider and function $root provider. So $root provider will also having the two parts, that is for add and view. So when $root provider, when there is add1, the template URL will see add and controller will be add c, and when there will be view1, click on view1, there will be template URL view and controller will be view c. Okay, this is the our root provider part. Then here we have used two controllers, that is add c for adding and view c for viewing the student data. So how that controller is written, you can see here, main app.controller. This is our basic code. Till now we have seen this many times. Main app.controller and add c controller. Function is scope parameter as it is controller. Then $scope.message will be, this page will be used to display add student form, and same thing will happen with the view controller. Same coding, just we have to use that add c function with view c function. Okay, so view c controller we have used here, main app.controller view c, and function is followed by scope parameter. Then the scope message is displayed with $scope.message equals to, this page will be used to display view student form. Okay, and there is end of script tag, body tag as well as HTML script. So we'll see how the output will be given. Here the thing to be considered is we have used three things: ng view, ng template and $root provider. Okay, so this will be our output. It is having two links that we have created with ahref, that is add student and view student. Then add student, this page will be used to display add student form. This is shown by the add c controller, and view students is shown by the root view controller, view c controller, and add student, view student, this thing is having the placeholder by ng template. So this is about ng AngularJS views. Okay, so next part is scope. Scope is also a tool or the object that refers to the application model. Okay, and it is the glue between application controller and the view part. And both the controllers and directives have reference to the scope, but not with each other. And it is an execution context for expression and arranged in hierarchical structures. So scope is a special JavaScript object which plays the role of joining controller with views. Scope contains the model data. In controllers, model data is accessed via $scope object. Till now we have used $scope with controller or for displaying in a message. Likewise, here also we can see with the example, like started the script and created the main app. Main app controller used is shape controller, and parameter of course followed with the $scope, and $scope contains here the model data. So $scope in controller, this model data is accessed via $scope object. So $scope dot message equals to in shape controller, and $scope dot type will be shape. So we'll see about this thing. So in that example, we have used some points that we can focus on. Dollar scope is passed as first argument to controller during its constructor definition. Okay, so it is the first argument. Then dollar scope dot message and dollar scope dot type are the models which are to be used in HTML page, and we have set values to models which will be reflected in application module whose controller is shape controller. We have used the values in shape controller and shape, and their controller is shape controller. Okay, then we can define functions also with the help of dollar scope. The thing to be remembered is during the constructor definition, the first argument passed through controller is dollar scope. Okay, and why AngularJS scope is used? The basic point is to define member variables. The AngularJS scope is used within a controller. It can contain variables that are application data and methods. Okay, and we have seen this thing with the example. Again, with another example and another script tag, we will see. Here we have used a script and created the main app. Okay, and passed one empty array with it. So the controller we have used is shape controller. We have passed the message with scope parameter as dollar scope dot message is in shape controller, and another controller we have used is circle controller. Function is same, that is called dollar scope, that will be used in each controller. Okay, here thing to be remember is we are using three different controllers. The first was shape controller, second circle controller, and the third that we are going to use is square controller. Function parameters are same, that is dollar scope, and with this dollar scope message we are passing the message in which shape controller they are present. Okay, so this is nothing but we are defining the property. Okay, like here we can see the dollar scope dot message. This message is the member variable and its value is defined using this dollar scope object. So wherever we display a message in view part, its value will now get displayed as in shape controller or in circle controller or in square controller. So the functions can be defined with this particular dollar scope. Okay, so we can see this scope is combining these controllers or many controllers in one application. Okay, and the next part is services that are provided by AngularJS. So what are the services? There may be question in exam like what are different ways to create service in AngularJS, and explain separation of concern in AngularJS. So separation of concern and ways to create service. So these are basic points to be considered when you are going through services provided by AngularJS. Okay, so AngularJS service is a function which can use many business layer of an application. The controllers and filters can call them on requirement basis. Like services are normally injected using the dependency injection mechanism of AngularJS. So dependency injection also we are going to see, but before that what services are provided by this AngularJS, that we are going to see. Okay. In AngularJS, a service is a function that is available for AngularJS application. In AngularJS, it has about 30 built-in services, for example $HTTPS, $root, $window, $location, etc. Okay, and each service is responsible for a specific task. For example, $HTTPS is used to make AJAX call to get the server data. $root is used to define the routing information, and so on. And inbuilt services are always prefixed with $symbol. In AngularJS, the services can be called by the controllers and filters as per the requirement. The concept of dependency injection is used to inject the services, and there are so many services, like 30 built-in services in AngularJS that we have seen, like $location, $root, $HTTPS, $windows, etc. And these services perform various tasks. Okay, so there may be questions like which services are provided by AngularJS. Okay, then you can give like $HTTPS, $root, $windows, $timeout, $interval. Okay, so there are about 30 services that are built in. Okay, and the custom services can also be created using AngularJS, like factory with the two ways, like using factory method and using service method. So the types of Angular services in AngularJS are this built-in services and custom services. So built-in services, there are about 30, and custom services, if user want to create its own service, he can do it. Okay, so for creating the services with factory method, we have to define factory and then assign method to use it, and using service method, we have to define service and then assign method to do. So we can also inject already available services to do it. So likewise, there are many services provided by AngularJS, and we will see this with simple example. Like here we have started a script by including some source from AJAX file. In body tag, we have created this app with my app and controller as my controller. We have used one paragraph. The URL of this page is, okay, and h3 my URL is written with the expression. Okay, now we have to factor directory tag. Then in script we have created object or variable like where app equals to angular.module method and my app plus we have passed empty array. Then with this app object we are creating the controller, app.controller, my controller, the same controller we are calling here, and function we have passed here is $scope and $location. We can see here there is a controller which is always having scope parameter, plus we have added $location service. Okay, so now we will see this $scope object is used with my URL, okay, that we have provided as expression in the above part. Okay, so my URL is equals to $location dot apps URL. Okay, that is function. So it will give you the location of that particular source or that URL that we are dealing with. Okay, and there is end of script, body and HTML. So here will be output, like the URL of this page is stored at file c ajservices.html. Okay, and the output is here, that we know the output will be at the place where expressions are written. So expression is written in text, that is my URL, that we can see in red line in h3 heading. Okay, so in front of that only our output is displayed. Okay, so this is about AngularJS services, and already told there are two ways to create service, that using factory method and using service method. Okay. Then there is also a separation of concern in AngularJS, like means separation of concern means that you have a well defined structure of your application, and the data model in the application is decoupled from the business and presentation logic. Okay, so if you want to divide that particular application, this is nothing but the separation of concern in AngularJS. Please listen carefully this concept. It is the base of MVC pattern which defines the view, the controller and the model, and this separation makes the code maintainable and easy to test. So we have to follow the guidance, like how to architect your Angular application. The model should include the domain data. It should be implemented the management of domain data, like query, edit, delete, storing mechanism, REST implementation and HTTP fetching. There, the model should expose an API that makes possibly the model usage in controller or other service. And the thing the model should not use is, it should not provide the details on how the domain data is managed. It should not contain logic that transforms the model based on user interaction. Plus, it should not contain the logic for displaying data to the user. Okay, this is the view's job. The model should not contain it. And the separation part also concerns about a controller should contain the logic required to initialize the scope, like things. Okay, it should contain logic or behaviors required to update the presentation data for the scope or user interaction. Okay, so these are many things concerned with methods that are used in AngularJS under services pattern, and we can use AngularJS services when we want to create things that act as an application interface. It can be used for all those purposes for which the constructor is used. So till today we have seen all the tools that are provided by AngularJS. So in next session we will see what the dependency injection is, that we are talking about the services provided under AngularJS. Okay, so what is dependency injection and custom directives plus internationalization, that will continue with the next session. For this session we have seen the includes views, scopes plus services. Okay, in services also there are two methods, like factory service and service method. Okay. So please revise this session that we have taken today, and we'll meet in the next part. Okay, till that, take care.